I have one question before I say anything else. How long do you want to live? Go ahead, pick a number in your mind. Because depending on what happens in the next 2 decades, that number may no longer be left up to chance, genetics, or God. It may be determined by a scientist in a laboratory, editing the code that makes you, you. In Greek mythology, Pandora was given one instruction: do not open the box. She opened it anyway, and out flew disease, suffering, chaos, and malice. But at the very bottom, the last thing that was remaining was hope. Humanity has found its own version of that box, and it's written in 4 letters: A, T, G, and C, your DNA. And we've already opened it. Hope all of you have used word processor before, like Word, Google Docs, anything. Now imagine a document 3 billion letters long, no spaces, just A, T, G, and C repeated endlessly. That document lives inside every single one of your 37 trillion cells. It is your deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. Now, it determines your eye color, your genetics, your susceptibility to diseases, how your brain is wired, everything. So, in 2012, scientists developed a find and replace tool for that document. It is called CRISPR-Cas9. It has the ability of finding one particular letter among the 3 billion and change it with molecular precision in any living organism. For the first time in 3.8 billion years of life on Earth, one species gained the ability of rewriting the code of another, including itself. The box was open. Now, here is something your biology textbooks glossed over. Right now, as you sit, your body is aging at a molecular level. Each cell in your body has a biological clock, and it is known as a telomere. It is the protective cap at the end of a chromosome, similar to the plastic tip at the end of a shoelace. So as you age, that telomere progressively gets shorter and shorter until eventually it disappears. When that happens, your cell retires. Enough retired cells, and you have old age. Now, here is where mythology meets molecular biology in the most extraordinary manner. I was recently reading a novel, Ashwatthama versus Parshuram, The Immortal Force by Gunjan Porwal, and it explores the theme of the Chiranjeevs. Scientifically, what are they? They are those beings who are immortal, telomeres that never shorten, a cell that never dies, a biological clock that never runs down. And this isn't fantasy, no. There is indeed one species of jellyfish known as Turritopsis dohrani. When it gets damaged or injured, it reverses its life cycle and returns back to its juvenile stage and restarts life over. Biologists call it immortal. It is the immortal Ashwatthama in jellyfish form. Genetic engineering now asks, what if we could do the same for humans? Let me give you something real. In 2023, the first CRISPR-based technology was approved. Patients who had lived their entire lives in agonizing pain through sickle cell anemia because of one wrong letter among 3 billion received a single treatment. Their own cells edited at the molecular level. They were cured. No, not managed, but cured. That is the promise. And the price? Remember Ashwatthama? For him, immortality was not a gift. It's a curse. A body that remains perpetually in suffering, not able to renew itself, a wound that never heals. I know this isn't just divine poetry. This is the biology of cancer. Telomeres that are artificially immortal, that continue growing indefinitely, unable to stop, causing immense suffering to the person who has it. In 2018, there was a scientist. His name was He Jiankui. He edited the embryo of twin girls without global consent, without any oversight, and without considering the consequences of his actions. The scientific community reacted at outrage because he had not just changed two little girls. No, he had changed something much more fundamental. He had changed every single descendant that they would ever have. So, if you edit telomeres incorrectly, you don't produce the immortal known as Parshuram, vigorous and purposeful. You produce a lineage of Ashwathamas, perpetually suffering with immortality written into their code. And no, we can't just shut this down because the knowledge exists. The labs are running, and the code is being edited tonight in over 190 countries. But we can't decide how effectively we can use it. We need binding global frameworks. We need radical transparency, and we need you, patients, students, parents, citizens, teachers at this table, because the ones who are going to be living the longest in the consequences of these decisions are not the ones currently making them. One more question, and I want you to be honest. How many of you have ever made a decision without considering the consequences of your actions? Everyone's hand should be up right now because that is what humanity is doing now. So, every single person's life hinges on this one fact. Every single person. Let that sink into your mind for a bit. As we advance towards the future, the labs have started to engineer themselves in a far more efficient manner than ever predicted before. Thus, what we do with this knowledge is not a scientific question, it's a human one, and it belongs to every person in this room. The goal of scientific advancement is not to open the door to limitless possibilities, it is to set a limit to infinite error. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience.